All right. It's working. Morning.
Morning.
I feel very regal. I went to sit out on the deck, but it's a little cooler this morning. And then I was like, oh, I think I need just a blanket. But I feel like I look like I have a queen's robe on.
The Queen of Coffee Club,
So
yeah.
welcome to this Royal Coffee Club, Ray.
Thanks for having me.
You're probably, as we wait for some people to join us, I would think that would you and the horses just enjoy this little bit of the cooler weather this morning after yesterday? It felt so hot yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, honestly, the last 3 weeks here, it's been, I love heat. I
Yeah.
kind of, as I get older, like everybody, we start to hate winter. So, but you try not to complain about the heat, but it takes a bit out of us and out of the horses. So, a little dreary day like today, and a little. We actually had a little shower last night, so it helped knock down the dust. It just makes for a nice morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice
Yeah.
change.
Well, welcome to it. We're just going to give people another minute to join us. So as you join our coffee club this morning, please say hello in the comments. Let us know you're here and hanging out and having fun with us. And we get to talk to this. I was looking back. I was trying to think back of last time that you were on Coffee Club. I feel was maybe a year ago. Do you think?
Yeah, almost. I bet you within like a week or two, it was like,
Almost to the date.
yep.
It was on a WTF Wednesday that I remember. And it was COVID-y. That's all I can think of. So we're glad to have you back. And maybe we won't wait a whole year next time. That went by so fast.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, been talking about how time flies, um, and it's not like days or months anymore. It's seasons. It's like, oh, geez, it's fall again, or oh, now it's summer. Like
Yeah.
you as you get older, everything just kind of speeds up on a guy.
It really does. Well, and having kids, the fact that you're a dad, you know how quickly time goes because you just look at your children and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, you're
How did
just trying
that
to
happen?
them half the time.
Yeah. So who's behind you? Who's hanging out there today?
Ah, so the gray
The
horse is
gang.
Sheriff,
Yeah.
and then there's Grayson, Anito, Comet, Indy, and Law. So we're just turned horses out. We're doing chores and cleaning the barn, and the crew's giving her after a good weekend at the High River races.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to Virtual Coffee Club. And thanks everybody who's hanging out and said good morning in the comments. It was a big weekend for you because you just kind of came into High River and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to win the whole thing. So you did.
We had to make a run last night, and then Chris Molly actually had a couple late outriders. He had made a really, really good run, and if it wasn't for his outriding penalties, he would actually beat me. But unfortunately, that's the way it went. And, yeah, we had a couple mistakes of our own though the first two nights, minor stuff, but I guess overall it worked out. It'd be nice to take that back, but
Yeah.
we're trending in the right direction, I guess. So healthy and eating well and performing extremely well. So we're pretty we're pretty excited. Pretty excited. It's easy when things are like this in life. It's pretty easy to just get up every morning and keep going.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, when you have situations like, if those outriders of Chris's had made it, it pushes you to be better when other people you're racing with are being the best also.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he come off winning the Calgary Stampede, so his outfits are rolling, and there's good momentum there as well. And it's the top 5 right now in the world standings is very, very tight. So it's kind of anybody's game. If you're turning and running, you're going to be, beating the other guys. So it just comes down to staying clean and just being consistent. So consistent in everything you do, your morning routine, your feeding, your training, and then especially your driving.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of those standings, how does it feel to sit on the very top right now, number 1 in the world? Congratulations.
Yeah, sorry, Pirates come to join us here, so it's good. It's it's dog eat dog world. So there's 35 other guys that are trying to chase me down here. So, but yeah, first time in my life I've been actually in the hunt for a world championship, and we're trying to navigate our way through it and keep the horses healthy. So.
Yeah. Now, if people aren't familiar with you, you were in world professional chuck wagon racing before, and you decided to, I don't know, was it considered early retirement or change of career for a bit? And now you've just recently come back into doing it again. What did that time frame look like? Like, what was the gap?
2016, I decided to retire, I guess, and never at the time thought I'd come back to race wagons. And we took some time off and just, did some touring around and some traveling and team roping and some other stuff. And I felt like maybe I don't know, just couldn't. I tried to replace it, and that's probably the wrong approach if you talk to any therapist or whatever. So, and it ended up last summer helping Chance Flat out a bit, and the fire was rekindled, and then there was an opportunity to buy BJ Carey's horses because he was retiring, and he had a good depth, good barn there. So, anyways, we got lucky, got into their barn and took their horses over, and we've been just kind of tweaking and adding a few to it, and everybody's really performing well for us. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and sometimes when you take a break from something, you learn to appreciate it in a different perspective. Like, I would think your mindset coming back in 6 years later feels a lot different than when you were in it previously.
Yeah, way more present. There's things that I learned about, the politics in sport that I don't let bother me anymore. And time away from something you love, I guess, gives you more appreciation and value for the day-to-day stuff, and working through situations that maybe frustrate you or get you down. But, and then just taking the little wins and helping that build up towards a big win. Right. So that's kind of what we all summer. And we've had a good summer and got into some dashes, but couldn't close on some of them. And finally we got to here, and we got a win out of it. So, but yeah, the time away pretty much cleansed me and got me to the place I guess we are now. And I think it's working for us.
Well, I think that people sometimes forget because you just think, okay, it's just we as fans of the sport just come out and watch what I would call sort of the finished product. We're not privy as much to what happens to get to that space where we're there to watch the race. And so having, a healthy mindset, healthy living, like all of these elements as the leader of this team really come into play that we just don't think about, I don't think.
Yeah. I'd like to go into depth with it a little bit. So 2018, I retired, 2016, I retired. 2018, I got divorced. So there's a big lifestyle change there and a bunch of stuff that a guy had to work through. So when you talk about like mental health and your mindset and how, you're processing stuff, and it took some time to kind of find my bearings and get my feet underneath me, and then ended up, the time I told myself I'm not going to get into a relationship or really date anybody for 5 years, just try to take some time, and that lasted I think a year. And then I don't know, met Ashley, and from there everything was trending in the right direction, right? So you things in your life just started to evolve and work, and head in the right direction. So we stuck with it, and then got married, and we have a 2-year-old and one more on the way. And so life as a whole is fulfilled, right? And that clarity, I guess, and support, outside of the racing and the day-to-day stuff has made, I guess probably the biggest change for me. And then the support behind it, right? So anybody that's in a relationship or whatever, and it's consistency and finding that dedication for each other and stuff like that really, I guess, fills your life up, right? So that's was one of the biggest keys, and she supported my, I guess, dream or idea to go back racing. And she comes from a wagon racing family, so if nobody really knows, but she's her maiden name's Berger, but she's related to Vern and Shane Nolan, so they grew up around it all, right? So she knew what we were up against and what it took to go down the road, and I guess I got lucky in that standpoint, and yeah, it's just all come together and one big happy family here now.
One big beautiful package. Well,
Yeah.
when the universe delivers what's meant for you, Ray, it delivers big, and so you're in a really great space. And I think having known you for a long time, not super well, but well enough, I guess. It's beautiful to see all of these things coming into play, and you've worked really hard at being the best version of this piece of you. And so it was so cool. Even though we weren't there with you in person, we were celebrating that win with you last night and checking the standings this morning. Like it feels good. It feels good that you're in that space for your supporters and fans and friends.
Yeah, and it, like, there's years that are tougher, but then there's years like this year, I guess, feel like you can't do any wrong, and it doesn't matter. Horses you hook, they're working and doing their jobs, and family and barn crew, and everybody's happy. So, and since all the changes in my life, I've had numerous amount of people that have come and they just make a comment like, you're different, like you seem way happy, and I guess that's the case, right? So, and yeah. You don't know it in at the time when maybe you're stuck in a rut or you're just not who you're meant to be, and then when you do find it, people notice, and I guess you become thankful for that too, right?
Yeah. No, and I appreciate you sharing those personal pieces today, and just that I hope that whoever also connects with this video at some point, because we know that people watch us live and people catch us later, and there could be, I just feel this morning like there could be somebody who feels like they're in that rut spot, and I feel like you sharing that story just shows that what, you're gonna get through it, and happiness is on the other side. Just keep going.
Yeah, you just got to keep going, and never give up, and things happen for a reason, and there's all these one-liners that make people roll their eyes, but you don't believe in it until you get to the other side, like you said. And yeah, it's true, and it annoys you, and people to screw off when they're telling you just get through it, or it happened for in blah blah blah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah. Roll your eyes, but keep going. Yeah.
Mental health is a real thing, and just find somebody to talk to or find somebody to be with that can help you. So it's good.
Yeah. And how much do those guys that you're hanging out right now touching play into that mental health piece? Like, there is something magical and therapeutic about horses, is there not?
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but when people ask me like, why did you want to come back, or what, and I said, well, I crave the work for the horse. Yeah. What? You crave the work? I'm like, well, when you have a run like last night, and you everything's on the line to win, and you are successful, and all the time, and emotion and financial investment going into the horses pays off. That's the biggest reward, right? Because the horses are happy and healthy and doing their jobs to the fullest of their ability, and then you get a victory out of it, right? So I just I'm better mentally when I are physically working, sweating it out, getting stuff done. And if I sit around for too much, I notice that your brain starts to spin faster than anything, and that's not good either. So I'm a worker, I'm a builder. If I sit around on a beach somewhere too long, then I don't find it healthy for me either, right? Everybody needs their downtime, but I don't know what it is with me. I'm I just like to work and
Yeah.
kind of sweat it out. So yeah, being around the horses, there's endless work.
That's
You
for
know,
sure.
but when you wake up in the morning, you go to the barn and you open the door and they look at you because they know you're gonna feed them breakfast and they whinny to you or whatever. There's a big reward there, right? So yeah, they it's just healthy way to live, taking care of animals and your
Yeah.
family. Yeah.
And I think that's the other piece that, as fans or even speaking to the not fan of the sport, in that you just don't understand behind the scenes, is that connection with your horses is unexplainable, and the care and the love that goes into that entire herd is more than probably most animals in this world get the privy to have. And it's such an incredible relationship, and they love it as much as you do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like we haul 20 head down the road and they're all our kids because you gotta feed them and bath them and clean up after them. So at the end of the day, when they perform and they do their jobs, it's rewarding. And like there's days where they're somebody's sick or not feeling right or sore, and it's just like a human, I guess. You just can't back talk you or tell you to piss off. So you got to be able to pay attention and know what's going on. But yeah, it's anybody that's in the like ag world or ranch world, rodeo world, they understand the return on investment, I guess, emotionally and mentally for when you're involved with animals, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you had a big win in High River. You're sitting top the standings. What happens next? Like, where are you headed? Because you'll pack up and leave High River in the next couple of days, right?
Yeah. So today we're just like a down day. We kind of give the horses some time to rest, and kind of same for the crew. We'll do some packing up, cleaning up, basic stuff. Catch a nap here this afternoon and just kind of recover from the weekend a little bit, and then tomorrow we'll pack up and move to Strathmore, which is it's nice because it's a short haul. We're right
Yeah.
close, and then we start there Friday, so we run Friday to Monday, and
Nice.
then after that we actually get a weekend off, so majority of the drivers will all head home and kind of give some horses some time off and catch up on cutting grass or whatever's been at home, and then we head up to Dawson Creek, and our final 3 shows, there's a bit of strategy to it, I guess, and a lot of miles to make. So we go to Dawson Creek, then down to Rocky Mountain House, and then we have our world finals at Century Downs and Balzac. So we kind of go from one end of the province to the other.
That's a big shift, but
Yeah.
down to the 4 to go, I guess, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's about 20 race days left, and I don't know, blink of an eye, the season just about over. But when things are good, time flies, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this whole summer has gone by so fast. I was talking to somebody about that last night, that they've just been like, how is it almost the end of July? It's insane.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said before, just like months are flipping and then seasons, and here we yeah.
I think we're old now, Ray. I think that's also comes into play in this, is that age brings an interesting mindset also. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I've always said I look forward to getting old, and that sounds weird, but I enjoy the how small the world gets when it comes to um, I guess knowing people, and how you talk to one person and they're tied to a lot of people that or maybe you never met somebody before. And an example, I guess, is this weekend with Highwood Distillers, the new ownership. I went on Friday and did a kind of a talk about chuck wagon racing and their sponsorship to their family and at the distillery, and uh, was there for about 5 minutes, and the new owner, he's like, "Do you remember Vico Engineering?" And I said, "Yeah." I said that was my first sponsor at the Calgary Stampede when I
Yeah.
was 18 or 19 years old, and he's like, well, that was my dad. And
Oh,
20 years,
really?
yeah, 20 years later, he's sponsored me through the distillery, you know, and
Yeah.
that just shows how small the world is, right? And how people are connected. And then, you know, as I guess you grow older, your family and kids grow up and you get to see what they become and where they head and how you can help. So it's a lot of fun.
That's cool. And how interesting is that distillery? Is that not the most
It's,
fascinating place?
yeah, it's for me, working in the oil patch and understanding production, I guess, a bit.
Yeah.
It's neat to see. And you know, I just like getting in the minds of the science, I guess, behind it, and
Yeah.
understand numbers and their business structure. And
Yeah.
I don't know, you can learn from anybody, right? So
Yeah.
they've been around since the 70s and they're still here today, building their brand and getting people drunk, I guess.
Yeah, or also just a nice social whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Keeping people interestingly happy. Yeah.
I'll show you what I'm doing here, but this
Okay.
is great. This is Grayson. He's one of my good left leaders, but
Yeah.
he likes getting his ass rubbed, and I'm standing here and he keeps backing up to me, so I've just been scratching my butt the entire talk.
He's like, more, more, more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking some time to connect with us on Coffee Club this morning, and congratulations on your win this weekend and the success you've had. And regardless of what happens next, just hoping that you enjoy each and every moment that's presented to you.
Yep. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate the coverage that you guys give us and the sport and the animals, and we just hope to make more believers out of the sport and support the animals, I guess. And by you guys doing this kind of stuff, it sure helps out.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, have a great rest of your day, and say hi to your fam jam for me.
I will. Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Rae. Bye, everybody. Cheers to you. And we'll see you back here on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Bye, everyone.